Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I'm going to demonstrate several ways to make a house quilt block. I'll show you two different pieced methods for that. I'm also going to show you later on in this tutorial how to take your hand embroidery or cross stitch or machine embroidery and put it into a quilt block similar to this. Okay, let's get started. All of the supplies will be listed below your YouTube screen in the description section. So scroll down till you see the word more, click on it, and it will expand open and you will see that information. I'll also have the cutting instruction for all of your pieces. Take your 4.5 inch square and your strips that are 4.5 inches by 1.5 inch wide, and you're going to place them right there on the edge on both sides of the center block. Now this is your background fabric, the white is. My check fabric is the house itself. If you're not used to piecing, I recommend that you pin the pieces together and then on each one a 1/4 inch wide seam along the edge and then backstitch just a little bit at each end. After you finish stitching, then you want to press your seams. So press on this side, then open this up, and you're going to press the seam again. One thing you need to pay attention to when you're pressing, pay attention to which is your darkest fabric. So this red one is the darker fabric. So I'm going to press the seams towards that center fabric. So I will press from the top side and I will gently push against that seam so that this fabric, the red check, will fall over that seam edge. On your background fabric that's 2.5 inches square, you'll have two of those. You're going to draw a line from corner to corner. So just take a straight edge, whatever you have available, and a pencil and just draw a line. You do that on both of them. Then this is my roof fabric. I'm going to place both squares on each end of the roof fabric with the fabric lined up on this end here. Your lines will going up towards the top of the roof so you see that slope. Then when you stitch, you have your drawn line here. You're going to stitch on the outside of that drawn line. So on this square, you're going to draw on this, you're going to stitch, excuse me, on this side. And over here, you'll stitch on this side. You want to stitch real close to that drawn line, but not on top of it. Then after you finish stitching those two squares on, then you're going to cut some of this off. So you want to leave about a 1/4 inch width of fabric outside your stitch line. So do it on both sides. Then after you've done that, you're going to unfold it, go to your ironing board, and remember what I said, which is the darkest fabric. So you're going to press this seam towards the red fabric. So you'll have your iron coming from this direction, push gently against the seam. You don't want to stretch your fabric. Just push gently so that the seam does not show through that background fabric. So have the bottom of the house with the pretty side facing up. Take your roof with the pretty side here and turn it over to where your pretty sides of your fabric are together, and line your edges up along here. Then place pins along this edge to hold your pieces together, and then again stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam from one end to the other and backstitch just a little bit at each end. Now after you've done stitching, make sure you press the seam, and then when you unfold this, you're going to press this seam towards the roof because it is the darkest fabric. And again, just gently push across there, pressing it flat. And then this is what the block looks like when you're at this point. If you want to add a border at this point, you can, and here's how you would do it. It's really simple. You would cut your strips for the two sides. So they're going to be cut from here to there, whatever that length is. So you want to always measure your blocks. So you would put it on and then stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam along here. Then when you're done, you would press it and then unfold. And again, because this is darker, I'm going to press my seam towards the darkest fabric. So you've got your two sides on. Then you go and do the top and bottom. You're going to measure from the length across here, put it down on top there, stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam, press, unfold, and again press towards the darkest fabric. Now here's how you can add a door to it. It's just a couple of more really simple steps. So here's your door piece, and then you have the two pieces that go on the side, and the door is 3.5, I believe, by 2.5. Double check those numbers down below. Then you take your other two pieces and you bring them on top and you stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam. Press on the back side, unfold, and now you're going to press towards the door because my door is the darkest fabric. So whichever is your darkest fabric is where you're going to press the seam. Now the upper portion that goes above the door, you take that strip, bring it front side down, pin and stitch 1/4 inch wide seam, press it, and then unfold, and again press the seam towards the door. So now we're going to take and put the background fabric on the side. So you take that background fabric, bring it on top, stitch a 1/4 inch wide seam, press, and press the seam towards the darkest fabric. Do the same thing over here. Then you're going to add your roof on. You do it the same exact way that you did in block number 1. So this is what the two blocks look like at this time. Here is a suggestion for a quilt layout if you wanted to make one. If you're going to stick to just 3 colors, like this one is red, white, and blue, yours can be any color combination. You can build the house blocks opposite of each other. For instance, this one, the house is red here with a red roof. Over here, it's blue here with a blue roof. And then the borders are different colors. So you can do every other one doing it that way. So just lay them across how wide you want it to be and how long you want it to be. Now this block finishes at about 10 inches square. Now here's how I recommend you do your needlework if you want to put it into a house block. So this is my cross stitch one. I cut this whatever square size you want. So cut it down to whatever the size you want. So here is another version of it. This was done on my embroidery machine. You could also do this with hand embroidery. Then you would put the sides of the house on to this square here. I made these about 1.5 inches wide. Remember, you can always make it wider. It's up to you how big you want to make it. So stitch those on. Do the pressing process, very important. You make the roof the same exact way that you did in the previous demonstration. So you put the sides of the house on, the background fabric, put the squares on the roof, then the roof on to the house. And then if you want to add a border, that's great. This particular pillow also has piping on the edges. If you're interested in learning about cross stitch, I'm going to have a link below your YouTube screen in the description section. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something new. Remember, be sure you go down below your YouTube screen in the description section. You scroll down till you see the word more. Click on it and it will expand open and you will see all of the links, plus many other things that I haven't talked about. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.